Bronny James ends up a LA Laker. Not too many people were surprised because Rich Paul was basically like, "Hey man, if you draft Bronny, he will go play in Australia next year, and he's gonna go out here and play with LeBron. And the only thing I'm confused about is LeBron is a free agent now. He opted out of his contract, and he's saying he's gonna take less money to help the team. And then Bronny is also saying, yeah, entering the draft this year to play with my dad wasn't really a deciding factor. It was more just cuz I knew I would be drafted by the Lakers, and that's the team I love since I was a kid. So kind of mixed signals here because Rich Paul is saying, "Hey, if he enters the draft, you can't go anywhere else." And then LeBron's opting out to try and put pressure on the Lakers when really we all know he's going to re-sign with the Lakers. This is a bunch of nothing. They have his head coach and they have his son. So I don't get what the deal is. Like, of course you entered the draft to play with LeBron. You averaged 6 points.
Yeah, you're going to average 6 points. You're going to be their 10th man. And honestly, I mean, there's a lot of people wondering, like, did he get drafted because he's a Nepo baby? And because of that, I don't really care about that, to be honest. But I didn't think he was going to be drafted anywhere else. Like, this is one of those things. Do you remember last year at the ESPYs when LeBron was floating around retirement? And then we all knew that he was going
Yeah.
to come back. This is the same thing. Like, we all know he's going to go back with the Lakers. We all know Bronny James is going to be a Laker. And we know that this next year could be LeBron's last year. Like, these are all things that we already know already.
Yeah.
They got the head coach right. He basically runs the Lakers at this point. Now they're trying to get DeMar DeRozan to that team somehow. So it's like, this is all obvious to me. And the only people who I don't think can fully grasp it are Lakers fans. But other than that, like, am I surprised by any of what happened? Not at all.
Yeah, and I don't know, the whole thing where people are going at Bronny because he's a Nepo babe. It's like, first of all, Bronny James is what, 19, 20 years old. It's like, I
Mhm.
have no beef with Bronny James because I don't have beef with Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Because you know what's really funny when you're bored to do? You just go, oh, I want to put on a highlight reel of Thanasis, and it's not really a highlight reel, it's a blooper reel. But if you're ever bored, it's something that's fun to do. And I don't ever have a problem where if you're someone in your family, you want to get your family members paid and into the drafts, like, okay, that's called being a good dad. LeVar Ball did that with his kids. He got LiAngelo Ball a chance. He talked up Lonzo to be drafted above Jason Tatum, which inevitably screwed the Lakers' future. But this is just something that it's a family business and it goes all the way back to the Godfather. You want to get your family members paid and you want to get that respect on your family name.
That gets me thinking, though, because 2017, everyone's like, Lonzo Ball is going to the Lakers. Lonzo Ball is going to the Lakers, and they talked it into existence. And in this draft, it was Bronny James is going to the Lakers. Bronny James going to the Lakers. And the Lakers are like, you know what? You're right. He is going to the Lakers. So that makes me wonder, if we get enough people to talk about us going to the Lakers, how likely is it that we can get drafted by the Lakers? Because it sounds like it's really just get the media behind us, talk it up, get word of mouth, and then ultimately, with that 60th pick down the road, we might actually be an LA Laker someday.
Yeah, we could be a LA Laker because it seems like if the Lakers repeatedly hear that they're going to draft a player, turns out the Lakers are like, I guess I'm going to draft that player, whether it's Magic Johnson, whether it's Rob Pelinka, it doesn't matter. And their fans have these expectations where they're like, wow, Bronny can be this or that, or maybe he just needs a few years. Like, no, he doesn't. He's on the Lakers because he's going to play with LeBron. Do I have a problem with that? No, because do I care who the 12th, 10th, 15th man on a roster is who's floating back and forth between the May and Red Claws and the Lakers or the Celtics or the Thunder or the Pistons? No. And you would be a fraud, and it would be a shame if you actually pretended that you actually cared the same, because it's probably going to be a player who doesn't really pan out. Maybe it takes a few years of grinding, which they're going to be able to do anyways in the G League in Europe. Maybe you go out there and you become a star like Doug McDermott did, but like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
At the end of the day, he's the 55th overall pick in this draft. If he becomes a Drew Holiday or a Derek White or one of these players, like a solid role player, then he's exceeded expectations as far as I'm concerned because his draft card was terrible. He averaged 6 points at USC. He was off the bench for a team that wasn't really that good to begin with. So if he can just be a serviceable role player, then I think he's made his mark known in the NBA.
Yeah. If he was like to the level of Avery Bradley, I would be shocked.
Yeah, and I mean, if he can be an Avery Bradley, then that's awesome. Good for LeBron and good for Bronny James. Because at this point in the NBA, he'll still make 20 million a year, just with
Um,
the namesake.
yeah. Do you think though the like part of this where it's coming full circle where LeBron had to deal with his dad on the team in Cleveland with Delonte West being on the same roster, and now LeBron is kind of the Delonte West on the Lakers?
That's something that I don't think enough people are talking about because that's very true. Um, yeah, I mean, we got to think about what Bronny has to deal with, but also, what did LeBron have to deal with? Because I mean, there was a song that the game came out with that completely talks about this in detail. I mean, I think this is something that we need to discuss.